All right, everyone, welcome back to Kings of Media. We're doing another kind of table talk here. So we have our lovely boy Gavin and our mediocre Wesley over here, and me, Eli. We're a little feisty here today, so
we are very feisty today for some reason.
It's true.
It's probably because it's Friday and it's been a long week.
It's been a long week, baby. I've been editing the Spider-Verse podcast episode like all week, so I'm grumpy from that. This guy's giving me a lot of heat. He's like, you should do this, you should do that.
I tell him how to do his job, but I don't know how to do it.
Exactly. You see what I have to deal with. But yeah, today we're just kind of doing a nice little talking about work, about our lives, just whatever happens, just kind of spontaneous stuff. Which, funny enough, Wesley works at the same place I do.
I changed jobs.
You did.
Nice. I work at the BYU prototyping lab, so I get to work with lots of really cool stuff.
If he had the stuff to make a bomb, let's just say he could make one.
Technically, that's against the rules of BYU, but that's okay. You know what I've thought about doing? 3D printing a gun.
Dude, I don't even need a 3D printer. I could just get some sheet metal and a pipe. Just a couple springs. It's too easy.
I'm talking about 3D printing a Glock. Little different.
Yeah.
But anyway, I will not do that because that's probably kind of illegal. At least doing it at BYU it is.
I'll talk to you after.
Man, this is already off of the rails.
That's the best part.
First minute, we're talking about 3D printing guns.
I have some data that you will be finding very pleasing, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah. I knew a kid.
Yeah.
I knew a kid in high school that moved from California. I won't say his name, but he knows who he is if he watches this. Moved from California. Me and my friends like, let's go meet the new kid, right? Let's introduce him. All of us, the thing that was on our mind the most, because it was a Saturday night, like, do you think he's a member? Because all of us are LDS here, right? We're like, do you think he's a member? Do you think he goes to church? And so we were trying to figure out if he was or wasn't, but we weren't direct about it. We were all just going roundabout ways of trying to figure it out. It's like, oh yeah, what are you doing tomorrow? Oh, I'm going to a homecoming or a farewell or something. Like, we could have just asked him, right? But we didn't. But besides the point, he's like, oh, let me show you some cool stuff. We go to his house. He has a shed at his house just full of essentially explosives. Because he's a chemist. He knows how to mix stuff. So he's like, oh yeah, look, I can just he makes a boom. Real quickly, we go off towards some empty slot. And he lets it go. Bro, that thing was so loud. And it's just, you know where it is, down the hill going towards Walmart. Mm-hmm. Like, where it used to be, like, an empty lot, like, years ago. That's where we set it off. And that thing was loud. Like,
okay.
Oh, crap, we gotta go.
So I have a friend, and his dad, for some reason, kept antique jars. And so this one was like, those water dispensers that use the blue jugs? Well, this was just an old glass one of those that was clear. Dude, filled the sucker up to, like, 80%, which is gasoline. Took it to the top of this hill, and they had like, I don't know what they called it, but it was the pit. And they just threw stuff in there and just destroyed stuff. They put it in there. Dude, it was like a real bomb, dude. It just smoke everywhere. Cops were coming up there. Man, I swear.
Good times.
Explosives are awesome.
David taught me how to make napalm. So
he would know.
He out of everyone I know, he would be the one that knows how to make napalm. That's just a David thing to know how to do. If any of you, David is the DM. For any of you who don't know, he's one of the DMs. He's kind of doing like the main big campaign that we're doing. Eli does a lot of the smaller ones, but basically he loves fire and he loves burning things, and he also loves sharp things, and so. We were companions together on a mission. That's kind of how I got introduced to this group. And on the mission, he taught me, showed me how to make napalm. So, yes, lots of really cool stuff.
I love that.
Do you think
on the mission he did that?
I don't think his family approved fire and sharp things very much. So do you think that kind of
Maybe.
Because he didn't have it, it's kind of like he wants
It's an obsession now.
I don't know, because I hung out with David all the time growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And all the time, he would just be outside with a stick and have a magnifying glass and just engraving into the stick, making it into a staff, and just doing the most random stuff. Because I would go over there, I'm a huge nerd, we just go over and fight with Nerf swords. All the time. You'd have like the Nerf axe and all that stuff, and we would just fight with each other. It got dangerous a lot. His younger brother was very aggressive. He's like a heavy swinger kind of guy. And so it'd be me and David going against each other, and then his brother comes in and just starts swinging this huge mace at us. I'm like, okay, my fighting style is more, let's say, finesse. So
Yeah, Eli got destroyed, is what he's trying to say.
Oh no,
Didn't your head go through the wall a couple of times?
It did. Yeah,
The
he told me
same
about
place.
that.
He did tell me about that. He showed me where it went through the wall.
Yep, my head, because I would just be very aggressive in certain stances, but also be acrobatic with zero training. Because David is the one that knows martial arts. I don't. I watch TV shows and movies, and I'm like, I think I can do that move. So I was like, oh yeah, let me just do a butterfly kick. My head runs into like the wall, or my elbow hits the wall in that same place. Dent. I'm like, I don't think his family likes me. They still like me, but I'm like, I feel bad.
So they love you.
So there's a basement in my friend's house, about the size of this, but it was like only like 6-7 feet tall in the basement, and all the walls were concrete. And it was like just one entrance, and everything else was concrete. So we took boxes, and we made a little, like, 2 front lines that are like 3 feet apart from each other, and we turned off the lights, and we all had little Springer airsoft guns, and we would like try to shoot people. So all you hear is, and then, or you're like, and things like that. And my buddy took a Nerf rival gun. It was like the first time to have him, and he would cock it, load a bullet in, but then he'd do it like he'd grab a thing of BBs and he poured it down the tip of it to make it a blunderbuss.
No.
So once you hear it, and all you hear is the pouring out of ammo, and you just hear, "Get down!" And you're like, if you didn't get hit, you're good. But the ricochet was insane. And there's the last one. There's a couple small fun things, but one was like, I put my gun through the crack in one of these cardboard boxes, and every time I saw this exact same space that was like 3 inches wide, I had my little pellet gun, and I could see, like, I had night vision for some reason at that point, and I could see my friend's head moving right there, just hiding behind the cover, and I go, ding, boom, right between the eyes, and he's like, ah, Frank! But it says something. I did that 3 times in a row in the exact same spot. And at the end of it, we turned on the lights and we walked upstairs, and his head was all swollen right here, and he's like, I got a headache. And now we're buying helmets for his birthday every single year.
Ah, yes.
The best joke. I'm worried about that light there. Like, just after your whole thing there, I saw it roll, I'm like, I'm really scared, because that's my backup light. I don't like that. Plus, he also knows I'm very mother-like, in that I care for people, but also I mother them, so I'm like...
Catholic reflexes. Anyway, despite how I am now, aka adrenaline junkie, I was a very cautious kid. Like, I don't know. All this stuff, like, you guys are talking about, I never would have done as a kid. I would have been like, no, I'm good. I don't feel like getting my head put through a wall, or, no, I don't want to play with napalm. No, thank you. Now I'm like, napalm? Yeah, let's go find a neighbor's cat. Like, I'm very different than I was.
What did you do growing up?
I played a lot of video games growing up. Like, a butt ton of video games.
What was your games?
I played a lot of Halo, a lot of Call of Duty.
I
What
was
else?
a crazy man of Call of Duty.
Yeah?
12 years old, I was a guy on top of the league.
Tell me about this.
Every time. I drink my Mountain Dew Code Red because that's the gamer fuel. And then you just go to town and that's it. You just go to town.
I was never good at video games, but I just enjoyed playing them. That's pretty much how it was for me. I would always die or be on the bottom of the leaderboard or in the middle. That's when I was like 15, 16-ish. But I also played a lot of like retro games that weren't online, so like a lot of like Pac-Man and Super Mario Bros. And Contra and things like that. So I played a lot of different games.
I played games, but like it's the same as you. I didn't play competitively, and I would just play like single player games, so Skyrim or Spider-Man. But I also did sometimes play Halo or Call of Duty. But the issue is I essentially got bullied by like my brothers. So they'd always sit there and watch me play video games and just be like, "You're garbage, you're trash, this, that," and like, I hate this. I can't. So I just wouldn't play video games while they were there, or I would just go and do different video games. So ones where it's not competitive or something, I just do that. And then, those are my games. So you'll find me playing more slower games versus Wesley, who's very competitive in his games.
Recently, I've been playing a lot of slower games, things like Breath of the Wild or the new Tears of the Kingdom that just came out. Great game.
I've been playing slower games as well that are still difficult. So like the Sekiro, you die twice or something like that. But that one's like just a Dark Souls game.
Basically, it's rebranded Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I love the Breath of the Wild. I was really disappointed with the story. Well, not the story, but just like the whole Ganon fight. I thought it was too easy.
I haven't played. I'm a PlayStation kind of guy. I don't have any Switch.
So get this. So Nintendo back in the day was really like kind of cautious with like releasing Ocarina of Time to America because they thought it was too hard for Americans at the time. But now, if we look at games now, they're all just like kind of they're trying to appease audiences instead of like just make their game. Kind of thing, so that's why I like things like the Dark Souls games because it's just freaking hard.
Tears of the Kingdom, I've been told, is much more difficult than
Really?
Breath of the Wild is. Yeah, I've been told it's much more difficult.
Okay.
I mean, even from what I saw, I was watching some of my. I played a little bit, not a ton. I haven't had a lot of time recently. A lot of stuff going on in life, but I watched David play a little bit, and because I room with David as well, and it looked really difficult. There's this one fight where you're fighting like Shadow Ganon or something like that. There's like 8 of them, 6 of them, something like that.
The videos I've seen of people, because they're like little goo piles that just run around, and then they just come chasing after you. And after you beat them, then
there's like a second phase. Yeah,
it's like that's terrifying. And those are just everywhere.
Yep. And not only that, that's not even the main boss fight. That's like that's just one of the fights.
It's just an enemy that you can come across,
mm-hmm.
and they're everywhere.
So, yeah.
I was getting the feeling as I was playing the Sekiro game. I was just like, man, this guy, like, I guess like the story world environment wise, like, this guy is definitely like top tier. Like like you could almost feel the training or whatever he had to go through because of how hard the gameplay is at some points, and you literally have to like, I guess, learn how to be the character kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely just had more respect for the game just because it's just like this is the game, and that's how it is.
Oh, for sure.
There's some smaller games. One's like Mad Father. It's like a little pixelated kind of not JRPG. It's just a little pixelated story horror game where you're like this little girl going through your father's mansion and realizing he's this crazy guy. And I won't ruin it for you if you want to play it, but it's just like this little pixelated game. It's like $5, but it's just so good just because someone puts a lot of care into it. It's awesome.
Oh, for sure.
Oftentimes, those that don't have a lot put more into it. So the smaller indie creators, they have really good stories and stuff, but then the bigger companies like, well, we need money.
Yes. Money.
Mario Party 17.
Yes.
And you're still gonna buy it.
You're still gonna buy it, even though it's the same exact game.
Same with FIFA and Madden. They're the same game. New
updated graphics. That's it.
And even then, it's like they release them, but they still have like online updates. So based on how the players are actually doing in the actual season, then they'll update the players in the game. So then they're up to date. Like, just release one version and continue to update it then. But no, we have to make Madden 2024.
Do you guys have...
Because money.
Are you guys getting annoyed with the whole people charging for nostalgia kind of a thing? Especially, like, that's a big thing with old retro collectors and things like that. If you had like an old Game Boy or something, they're like $120 or something like that. Like that's the same price as they were brand new or even more at some points. And people are just charging because you really want it, kind of a thing. It just sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like so that's the thing. When it comes to that stuff, I never buy the on-brand stuff. I always buy the super cheap off-brand stuff. So like, I had this NES recreated thing, and it was like $40 on Amazon because I was just like, I'm gonna get the cheap Chinese brand, and it was great. Like there was all these games on it that like my dad used to play when he was a kid, like Gunsmoke, great game, fun, super fun. But like all these great games that he used to play when he was a kid, and then he like showed me them. And they were amazing, and so I used to also play a lot of plug and play consoles. You know, just like it's got the 3 like AV cables or whatever, and you plug them in. And, yeah, I used to play those on our big tube TV. Oh my gosh.
There's pole position. You know what that game is? Pole position, where you're like this. You're just a race car, and you just try to do the course as fast as possible. And on one of those, you had to twist the knob to turn.
Oh.
And it sounds kind of weird at first, but I got good at it, dude. Holy freak! I was just like, and I'm like, got my fingers on it. I'm switching gears fast. I'm like, and I got all the high scores on the top 3 on this little game, and then my brother got real sad. He's like, "Why'd you take my high score?" So I beat it and named it after him to make him happy. And then I beat that one and made him my own again.
Because that's just the kind of brother that Wesley is.
I was the person.
He was my older brother too, so I kind of let him feel down like that.
Yeah, I know. I used to play a lot, like Techno Bowl. I played that a lot. That's an old one. Like, it's basically Madden, but the OG version of Madden. It was good. Or another one I used to play was Excite Bike. I don't know if any of you know what that one is, but it was a fun game.
If I thought.
It was like, it was basically like this like top down, like not top down, but it was like from like kind of like the side, but like super way out, and like it was super pixelated. But you were on a dirt bike and you had to like jump and like go on these tracks and like avoid like the oil spills and things like that.
Yeah,
it was so much fun. I love that game.
Eli, I know you have the Hogwarts game. Did that meet expectations?
Oh, I actually don't have that game. I was thinking about.
I thought you got it.
No, I was thinking about buying it over and over again. My brother has it, and I went to his place and played like the introduction of it, and I like it. I'm a Harry Potter fan, despite what people say. There's a lot of controversy on that, so we love that. I thought it was pretty fun. I'm still not super far in it because I was only playing it for a little bit, then I had to dip. But I think it could be pretty good. Just, I don't know. The gameplay is interesting because like, you have the different spells, and it's just same spell, clicking the same button, and then does slightly different effects. So just pew 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 pew. I don't know. I have to play it some more to get into it, but it is a single player story kind of game where you can be who you want and do what you want, and that is my appeal. So I might buy it, but also I'm looking at Spider-Man 2. Oh my gosh, you just reawoken something.
I love that game.
I loved those ads.
I love that game.
Great. That's the thing. I never had a computer I could play it on. I tried to play it so often, but I could never get very far in the game because I had this little. It was like my grandpa's like dinky little like laptop that I would try and play it on because they didn't make it on Mac, and so I had to find a PC to play it on. It was this dinky little like. It was basically a tablet that had a keyboard attached to it. And it somehow could download Wizard 101. I did the same thing with World of Tanks when it was first.
Did you ever play RuneScape?
No, I never played
That's
RuneScape.
A classic. Old school RuneScape is the only RuneScape I'll ever play.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, RuneScape. It's freaking sweet. It has like those old pixelated graphics, but they're so sharp now. Actually, they haven't changed it at all. It's still the original game. You got all those old songs and everything, and you just like. Whether you like it or like you don't even play it anymore just for the story or anything, you just love the old sound effects and nostalgia effects.
It's a nostalgia game for sure. I wish I'd played like a broader variety of video games when I was younger.
I just didn't play any based off what you guys are talking about.
But no, You just had your own your own choice of video games. You had your choice. Like that's the thing. I played a lot of Wii when I was really young, and then as soon as I like figured out what computer games were, I was constantly trying to get a PC that could play games. And so like I was like 10 and I saved up as much as I could, and I'd do yard work and I'd do chores and I'd do all this stuff to save up. I bought a $400 Toshiba laptop. Thing was a piece of garbage, but I could run Minecraft on it, kind of. And so that was like the first real computer game that I really started to play. And then I tried to do all these other things and whatnot, and it just didn't work. And then that thing like basically said nah after like a year and a half. And so then I bought like an actual gaming laptop, but it was one of those like Asus ones that are like super cheap, not great, super not well built, and it had some like huge overclocking issues and like overheating issues and stuff. And so it was just like it was not. But I had that for like 6 years.
Nice.
And then I sold it right before I went on my mission, and then I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy like a really nice gaming laptop. So I went to Costco of all places, and I bought a Legion 5, which. If you're looking for a gaming laptop, Legion 5s are amazing. They're great. But it was not something I could afford at the time, so I had to return it. I was getting ready to go on a mission. Like I had
That's fair.
Hey, if you ever want help building one, I could build one. Especially for cheap.
Once I have the money.
Why will we ever have money?
Because like, if you go to Walmart or Costco, what the average computer that's probably equivalent to mine is like $800 to $900. My computer is $400, and so they upcharge so much, and you'll see it all the time on like Facebook Marketplace or some local trading app. It's like awesome PC, and it's like some computer worth like $400. They upscale to like $600 or $800 because they built a computer or something like that. And so definitely recommend buying one, not buying one, actually building one, and buying used parts, because unless the owner is harsh on them or overclocks crazy and is not very skilled with managing that, they practically last forever. Remember that.
Or you could just be like me and buy whatever one that's the highest rated quality you can find.
Throw away your money. Like you like.
You find the highest quality one.
Spend $6,000 and buy a MacBook.
That's the thing. Like right now, I'm not concerned about any of that. I literally just bought a mountain bike so I can use it to get around town. Because I'm poor. So
Shout out being poor.
I'm literally thinking, that's funny that you say, because I'm literally thinking of buying one of those electric scooters. And you see like riding around the town, and you get one of those. I'm like, that's not bad.
Get an electric bike. They're cheaper and they're better, if you ask me. Like
fair. But also electric scooters kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is. Have you seen those ones that are like crazy fast? Like they can get up to like 60 miles an hour? Like, oh my gosh. There's some crazy electric scooters out there that can go crazy fast for a long period of time.
Yeah, I was just up at Salt Lake, like I think last month or something, and I had to go back to the car to put stuff away, and I'm like, I don't want to walk all the way back there. And it's like, oh, let me just rent one of these scooters. I've never done it before, so I rent one. I'm like, okay, cool. I hit the gas just a little bit, and just I'm like, oh, this thing moves. And I'm just zooming through the street on this thing, like, this is nice. Just, like, I need this more often. It's
you know what?
cool.
You know what I want to get? I want to get a dirt bike. Because a dirt bike, like, what I've been looking at is, like, WR 450s. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone here knows anything about dirt bikes. But, like, I want to get a WR 450. It's like the Yamaha, like... Basically, the WR stands for wide ratio, so you have like wider gears and stuff like that. So it's like better for riding on the like. It's made for dune riding.
All-terrain kind of thing.
Yeah, it's made for like dune riding, so like more endurance, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like their YZs are the race bikes, so they're like on motocross tracks and supercross tracks and things like that. So they're not really meant for these long rides, you know. But the WRs are, but they can also get up going fast. Like my friend Braden got going pretty quick on one. I'm not going to say how fast he went because...
That would be incriminating.
Yes. But...
I don't know this,
No, he's my friend from a different friend group.
You have your different tables and how you act with them. This is the one table, and then Braden's the other one.
Yeah, pretty much. And so they're great bikes because they're super easy to make through because they already have a light. They already have a front headlight. They already have a brake light. They already have like. I found one from like 2009 for like 35, like 3,500.
That sounds about right because I had a YZ450. My dad did. We sold it, and we sold it around 33.
Yeah.
Just because.
I had a
carbureted as well.
I had a YZ450F as well. Like it was a 2004, I think it was. The guy in the ad said it was a 2006. Turns out it's actually 2004 after we looked up the VIN number. And I bought that thing for like $1,800, but that was
nice.
That was like 4 years ago. That was a fat minute ago.
It's a good time.
Yeah. Oh, the days when you could go and buy a working vehicle for $500.
That's what I did. I had a truck that was from 1983, 40-something years old. And Eli was there. I was driving from school every once in a while. But the sucker had no power steering. It was all manual. The windows were manual. And if I had the radio plugged in, it would kill the battery. And it only blew hot air. And man, my left forearm, it was like, I'd grab it and I was like, and I'd be like, all right, let's back this sucker up here. And like, it was not it could not get up and go. It just, it took forever to get like a 60.
But it was a working vehicle.
It was so fun.
That would cost like $3,000 nowadays with how vehicle prices are.
Not even just vehicle prices, like
just
everything. You got cars, you got housing, you got electricity. Like everything is just so expensive, and I hate it. Because me and Wesley, we live in the same neighborhood, but we're looking to move out, and we keep on looking at different housings, and like they're so expensive. We're trying to find another person to move in to like split the payment down more. It's like, goodness, we need to find a housing. I need to find a car because my car is currently messed up. Transmission issues.
No, it's a car anyways, just like you know.
Oh, it kind of was. It was going to be mine. I drove it more than who had it before, so.
But is your name on the title? No. Then
Well,
it's
me-
not yours.
Well, it will be mine. One way or another, it will be mine.
Transfer title.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just like not working, and like I don't want to get a new car, but also I don't want to get a used car. I just am very picky. So like I hate how expensive things are.
Yeah, the place I'm living right now should be like $300 for rent. I'm paying $450 a month right now, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm going to a place that is much nicer and it's actually cheaper. So.
Yeah, that's with David, right?
Yeah, I'm going
Is it
with David
Ethan
and
third?
Ethan. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Ethan Moore. I don't know if you guys know him. No.
Yes.
I like holy things.
Well, you could have had a table full of stuff.
Should give me a fidget spinner so I could
I
actually
don't
do the
even
picture.
be careful with that.
Fine.
Oh,
Here, take my knife.
Okay.
right here. Right here.
Ah!
I love that freaky meme where it's like, I have a knife, and it's like a 3-year-old running with it.
The amount of times I quote memes, and I was almost always at work, and just quoting memes or something, and I just wait to see if someone else will respond. That's the majority of my vocabulary, is just saying a reference and hoping someone will catch it. Because then I just feel so good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
He does that with
Yay.
Taylor Swift crap all the time. Because it goes over my head, he gets really judgmental of me.
I don't get judgmental. I just get judgmental because he hates on her a lot.
Yeah.
For good reason, but.
Little do they know I have backup.
Oh.
No, you don't.
Someone comes in and is like, I will fight you, and you're not Taylor Swift.
Here's the thing. Majority of the people that work at where we work are Taylor Swift fans.
That's fair.
Majority of them are Taylor Swift fans.
Are they also majority female?
No.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One of our managers is
Genuinely?
a big Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
I love how you implied that because they were a manager, they could be female.
What? No. Guys, it's not like that. Don't think. No, wait. Don't type that comment. I know what you're typing. It's not.
Type it. Type it.
Stop it now.
I'm not sexist. I promise.
What?
Eli, stop.
I want this this video to have 1,000 comments, and it's all just hate comments, because that is how the internet works. Is that a good chunk are nice, and the rest are just like
Hate. I am fueled. The internet is just the dark side, pretty much.
It really
Hate.
is.
Hate.
Because it's like, you hate a content creator, you hate a movie, you hate a book, you hate a game. Like, majority of the times, just nowadays, people don't like anything that comes out. It's like, oh, Disney released a new movie. And people are like, oh, I hate it. It talks about this or da-da-da. The animation is not that.
More than anything. Disney movies being political is more why I hate them more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Most Disney movies are actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I just don't like them making them political. But like I said, most Disney movies are good, and I watch them because they're good movies.
They're fairly good, yeah.
They usually are. Like Tangled?
Most of the time. Tangled is amazing. Are you kidding me? It's a great movie. I remember I was like 12, and I was like, I don't want to go watch a princess movie. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a great movie.
That's what I was thinking about Tangled and Frozen. Now I'm bad.
I actually still hate Frozen. I'm sorry.
The first one's okay.
I have little siblings.
The second one more than the first.
The second one was okay.
The only thing is I have little siblings, and so when you have a movie on repeat for months at a time,
that's why you show them.
I wanted to die.
Yes,
I wanted to big sleep.
We literally just had SpongeBob on repeat during my childhood, or not my childhood, my little brothers would just always watch SpongeBob. But sadly, kids were not allowed to watch SpongeBob.
A lot of kids, yeah. I
Because they're like,
people
no, that
can't watch that.
That movie will make you stupid and
Rot your brain.
My parents were like, watch SpongeBob. It's funny. And I was like, we had the movie on DVD, dog.
We did too. It was so awesome.
I feel like friends my age, some of them weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
What do you mean?
The OG movie, though.
Oh.
The next one?
What?
With David Hasselhoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie, baby.
What was the
mustard? Ketchup.
I freaking love that one. Fill her up, please. Now that we're ready, we can do anything.
Now that we're men, I changed my underwear. It's just like, what is this? It was so awesome.
That's what SpongeBob was, though. It was so good.
Oh,
and then he
SpongeBob
died.
movie.
Gosh, freaking dang it.
But
Why'd you die, dude? Stop it.
But yeah,
Good creators
I
don't die.
understand it.
They live on.
Because a lot of things that I've noticed, because I'm a media guy, is that movies and things, they get rebooted, and then they have new animation or new style. So like Scooby-Doo got rebooted and had a really weird animation style. Ben 10 got booted, had a new animation style. SpongeBob had a new movie, rebooted, animation, everything. Like, but why did you change it? The old style was working great, and now it doesn't look good. And also the quality, because it was for us as kids, and we enjoyed it. And then it goes back down to like kid level. It's like, no, this is not the same thing that I watched growing up. Those aren't the same jokes. Maybe they're worse.
They're way worse.
They're way worse. Because I go back and watch OG SpongeBob. I'm like, okay, these are some adult content jokes here, but not what they have now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just
Blatant, almost.
it's just stupid too. Like it's so high paced and like Coco Melon style, where it's just like constant, like stimulating the children's brain because of how fast it is, changing it super fast. Like watching the new SpongeBob makes me kind of sad.
This is why at this channel we support Bluey. Best children's show you can
Bluey,
find.
I freaking love Bluey. My siblings watch it. Oh my god.
Literally yesterday I got lunch, and you know what I sat down and watched? Bluey. It's like, I need to watch something. I turned on Bluey of all shows, and it was just, it felt good.
It's wholesome. It's like,
so good.
it's one of the few shows that you can sit down and watch, and it's still a wholesome show.
Wonder Pets.
Okay, but modern.
Modern.
I know, but I just wanted to say Wonder Pets.
Wonder Pets was great.
Wrong.
But
No, way.
Every time the phone rings, like the phone is ringing. The phone will be right there. Every time.
every single
That was, or Little Einsteins. Oh.
We're going on a trip in our favorite life. Remember that phase?
Yeah!
Like, what was it?
Like
2016?
school, I swear!
2018.
Yeah, it was like 2018 where all those kid shows got remixed.
And everybody,
And you're just like, oh yeah, little
hard as
intro.
freak, dude.
They would go so hard.
You love them.
When was that? I want to see when that was made.
There was like 2 phases where it happened. There was one where I was like in middle school, and like people went like they were like, "Oh, this goes freaking hard." I was like, "This is stupid." 'Cause I used to listen to rock music when I was like 7, so I never like all of that stuff that came out during that time. I was like, "This is stupid." I just kept listening to whatever I wanted to, but I do remember that phase that happened because it was constantly on all the time.
So
It's much older.
oh,
2014.
That doesn't surprise me. Like I said, I was in middle school, so
2014 is when
that was
that
like
whole
10 years
phase
ago.
happened. Wow. Yeah, that was almost 10 years ago.
that was 9 years ago. I was. Hold on, let me do some math really quick. I was 12.
I'm
Oh my
old.
God.
What? I'll never get old.
I actually am still super young, and I'm really grateful for that.
Tangled was like 23 years ago.
It was not 23 years ago. It was like released
No,
in
not 23.
2010.
Like
2010, 20.
13 years ago.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna make this way up than we were.
I was about to say, I'm 21 and I watched it in theaters.
You just got ringing in your ears. You're like, whoa.
It came out
You
in
look at
20,
wrinkles on your arms and your vision's going bad. Like, what's
came out in
going on?
2010.
Oh my god.
So now that's
That's
23.
13 years ago.
Yeah, 13 years ago.
Wow.
Which
that's
I feel like
wild.
Tangled still is fairly new. Which is
Yeah.
weird to me.
The animation in it is
Great.
amazing for
Great.
like how old it is. I mean, it is a Disney movie, so what can you expect except amazing animation?
Well, I think, isn't it Tangled? Is like that was the art style and was the beginning of all the animation.
It was
kind
the
of
beginning of
styles
like the
what we
new
have
art
now.
style.
Mhm.
Like then it went to like Moana, and then Frozen, and then
I thought Moana came out after Frozen.
yeah, or something like
Frozen,
that. It was just
Moana.
like all those
And then
films, all the
Frozen 2.
animation was like from Tangled
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah, there's normally like something that leads the way. So like we talked in the Spider-Verse review, if you watch that. Like the Spider-Verse movie, it's kind of changing the animation style for movies a lot. So like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Mitchells versus the Machines, all those movies are now kind of adapting that new animation style. Not Moana. Tangled was the one that started that.
Mhm.
Tangled, and then animation style followed it.
Moana, make way.
I love them. Did you hear about that?
What?
They're doing live action Moana already.
What?
And guess who's in charge?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yep.
No way!
Gosh, dude.
I actually am not upset about that.
Well, I'm sorry. You're a great actor. You're cool. But Black Adam. He was in charge of that one. And that flopped. So he needs something to write back on.
Yeah, I bet you he's gonna be getting a lot of advice from other directors, though. Like, I'm excited for it, definitely, but like I'm excited for it, but I hope it's a good. I hope it's a good movie. I'm not
zero
expecting it to be.
expectations of it because I think so far every single Disney live action adaptation has been a flop practically.
There's been some good ones that
Like
still
what?
flopped at the box office, though.
Oh.
Cinderella.
People like that one. Maleficent, where the first one was pretty good.
Maleficent
The
was
first
pretty good.
Maleficent was amazing.
The
I'm
second one,
sorry.
I didn't understand it. It was visually cool, but I didn't think we needed it.
Mm-hmm.
I also liked Cruella. That was really good.
Never seen it actually.
It's
neither.
really good. Emma Stone is Cruella in that, and I love her. She's an amazing actress. She is.
Amazing actress in several ways.
So I loved Cruella. I thought it was a really good movie. I really liked the live action Aladdin movie. Some of the new songs in there were pretty good. The director, though, was someone that essentially just did music videos. So that's why I felt that way.
It did feel very music video-y, but it was okay. I liked it. I
Also,
enjoyed
Encanto just feels like a big music video to me.
it.
like
Encanto?
The latest Disney live action, not live action.
A movie or
Yeah,
animated?
it's the Colombian one. Like the story goes along, and you're all in like one
Great
place.
music though.
It doesn't make a ton of sense.
It doesn't make a ton of sense, and just it goes into like one song, and then everything moves and moves around, and then the song ends, and it's like, oh well, let's go to the next set, and then movie ends. Like, oh, was it just what happened?
I that one was like it was a pretty good movie. Like I wasn't too like it wasn't a bad movie.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it,
I
but
enjoyed it too.
it just felt like discombobulated, and like there's a lot of little
Sorry.
a lot of like meanings like that. Some things just felt like they didn't have any meaning, or like just because you don't know anything about the world or why things really happen, it just it doesn't feel
Because
like it's missing a lot of stuff still.
Because Tangled,
I get
you
it.
had great music, but there was still a whole story going along. But then with Encanto, you have great music, and still it's like, oh, I gotta go find Bruno. I
It
gotta
was
go
like
find
it was
this.
flipped. So like Tangled was like there's the story, but then you had music as fillers along the way, but you still had that story. But then with Encanto, it was flipped. Like the whole, all the kind of important scenes where it felt like they're singing more than, or they're all just shorter one or the other.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't that. I don't know. Just like it felt like it was missing something.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. That's what Bruno used to. He used to
Knock. Yeah, it's just like knock on everything because he's super.
superstitious.
Yes, thank you.
Jinx.
You want to know a great movie?
I didn't say superstitious.
What?
It was him.
I know.
You want to know a great movie? Luca.
I loved Luca. I felt like that was a return to Disney kind of movie because it was just like cute, heartfelt, just kind of a nice summer movie to watch.
What is Luca? I never watched it.
This is the Sea People one.
Where it's like that.
In Italy, and they're trying to get the Vespa, and
Vespa.
they're trying to win the race so they can buy the Vespa. Well, it
Was
was
actually good.
It was really good because it wasn't
amazing.
like you didn't have any other messages they were trying to get across. It
That's-
just was like
that's
a
what-
normal.
that's
It was just a
the-
cute, good movie that you can just sit down and enjoy with your family. I fell in love with that.
I was getting like political vibes from the trailer, so I kind of forgot about it.
It's
And then-
not at all.
And then I didn't
No.
hear anything about it being good or bad or anything. Just disappeared.
It was a great movie. That's all I can say about it. I watched. It was one of the
watched it
first
sometime.
movies that I watched when I got back from my mission, and oh my gosh, it was so good.
Funny enough, my mission, the first mission I went to, because I served, well, kind of served too, 6 months in North Dakota, we were allowed to watch movies. And so me and Nate, he was there, we were kind of in charge of approving movies for the mission. Because the mission president's wife knew that I was like a huge movie buff and that I would be fairly fair on like which ones missionaries could watch and which ones they couldn't. And so we watched Luca on our mission. I'm like, this is approved, this is cute, this is heartfelt, there's nothing that would distract a missionary, so we're good to watch it. So we watched that on our mission. There were missionaries that were trying to get the Passion of the Christ approved. I'm like, no, you don't need that. That one's not good.
I'm not a big fan of the Passion of the Christ. Just watch the Bible videos that the church made. Those are
Just
way
watch The
better.
Chosen too.
Oh, The Chosen.
Did you know it's on Netflix?
It's on
I saw it on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Oh my! I've been trying to find a place to watch it. 'Cause I haven't been able to watch season 2 or 3. I've only been able to see season 1.
I haven't watched it
Oh my
because every
gosh.
missionary is like, oh, we're watching The Chosen, we're watching The Chosen. But Wesley knows me that I refuse to watch anything smaller than a laptop. So missionaries be watching it on their phones. I'm like, I can't because I can't focus and it's not like because I like things to be in a nice form where you can witness and watch it with good sound, with good visual. And so to watch a movie on your phone, I disapprove of.
They only have the first season of The Chosen on Netflix.
Wow. There was only one not church-made movie approved on my mission.
What was it?
Rudy.
Of course it was Rudy.
Because my mission president was a huge football guy. He loved football, and he's like, that is the only movie that the missionaries can watch. He didn't sound like that. He's actually the sweetest dude I've ever met in my life. Rob Nye, President Nye, you cool, man. He's actually coming home,
Ooh.
and then we're gonna do a mission reunion
That's
in
cool.
October. It's gonna be so cool.
My
I'm so
mission president
excited.
from South Africa, he's finishing up here in July. He'll be coming home really soon. So there's a mission reunion for that. But in the other one, she allowed Studio Ghibli films. Like we had anime. I finessed my way in there. I got Avatar: The Last Airbender approved. I was my best subject in school was English. I put that to the test out there. I wrote a convincing, literally like an essay.
This is what corruption looks like in politics.
Exactly. I wrote a convincing essay from both sides. Because my favorite, not my favorite, but one of the best things I did in English was like writing those papers, the argumentative papers.
Oh, I hate that.
And so I'd always go, oh, so here's this, this, and this. But I can see from the other side's point of view of this, this, and this. However, da-da-da-da-da. So I did that the same thing with her. Like, so here's this show. Here are reasons why it's really good, why we should. Here's my personal heartfelt reasons. Here are things that could be distracting, could be an issue. But here are things I've already thought of how to avoid those issues. And then she was like, perfect, approved. Like, perfect. Then I went a little further and I got another anime approved. And then I left that mission, and then the new mission president came in, gone. The entire list. They could only use whatever was on
Church.
Gospel Library.
Yeah, Gospel Library.
Oof.
That mission president went hard on that mission. Like, they couldn't... I think they got rid of zone P days and, like, district P days. He was like, only what's in the handbook. Nothing else.
My mission president was basically like, follow the handbook, but spirit of the law. That's pretty much what it was. And there was definitely some missionaries that abused it, but all of us really, really tried to, like, really follow the spirit on stuff and not try and take away from it. We definitely were trying to be careful. Most of us, anyway.
There are a few that will slip through the cracks. Also, we assume everyone knows what a mission is. Granted, not everyone will. Wesley, you gotta explain what a mission is. Thinking. He's trying to think.
Dial up internet in his head right now.
Pretty much, it's like you dedicate 2 years to helping people find Jesus. That's about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
We pay for it out of our own pockets.
Well, not really find, but kind of educate and, like, inspire people to learn about Jesus. But we're not like trying to, like, force you. Like, hey,
you have to join me.
We want you to do this whole church thing, and yeah, Jesus. Oh man, that's the only dude. Come on, like we definitely like supported everyone in your own religion. We do not subtract from it. We support it. I support 100% faith, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's some sort of faith, I feel like civil, like everyone as a whole. I think it's just better, because like the majority of morality, like a lot of good morale, comes from religion and all those things. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if that wasn't there, we'd still be barbarians in a sense, kind of killing, and only the strong survive, kind of a thing, and wouldn't be so sophisticated and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we got sent to not quite random, but pretty just we don't know where we're going places.
But we'll go.
We don't get it.
But we'll go anyway. We don't choose where we go, and like we just basically get sent to these places for 2 years, and we stay there and we learn, and we also teach people about Jesus Christ and help them grow their faith and
learn their language.
Learn their language, yeah.
Respect their culture.
And unless you serve in the United States, then you're learning the United States language and probably another language.
Yeah.
So, like, I served in Maryland, Baltimore, but I was specifically assigned to speak Spanish and teach people in Spanish. And so, like, hablo español también, entonces, si hablas español, yo puedo hablar contigo. But, like, definitely we had to learn these languages. It's actually been a minute since I spoke Spanish, so that's probably all I know right now.
Whoa, weren't you, like, fluent in Spanish, though? Or are?
When I got off my mission, like, at the end of my mission, I was pretty much fluent.
You forgot it?
How could you?
No todo, pero sí mucho. Like, not all of it.
He's going to Spanish now.
Even I understand that.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a service.
Estoy hablando bien como básico ahora, pero está bien. And I also, for the last like year of my mission, I spoke with nothing but Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. And if anyone knows what Spanish is,
that's why
they talk.
Spanish sounds like that.
Whack. Hablan como un poco así, como no dicen toda la palabra, como muy raro, como la manera en lo que hablan. Pero está bien. Papi.
It's okay.
Papi, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo te va, güey?
God.
That way is a Mexican word. I say way a lot because I had a companion who was Mexican. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, basically, if you see two young men with white shirts and black tags and ties, just talk to them. Be nice to them. They're not there to try and change your religion. They're there to just teach you about Jesus.
If you want them to lift something heavy for you,
they'll do that too.
They will jump on it. Like, they love it. I remember as a missionary, I'd be like, do you guys have any service? Yes. You do? Oh, thank you.
We'll do it right here, right now in white shirts and ties. It doesn't matter.
I've done many holes with my white shirt and tie.
Yes, sir.
Afterwards,
they're always surprised when, like, oh, you sure you're in, like, nice clothes? Like, I don't care.
Give me the shovel.
Give me the shovel.
Grab the figures.
Figures?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We got little missionary figures. This is basically what they look like.
Okay, gotta make sure I do this correct.
Oh my gosh.
You scared the crap out of me.
You have nothing on your table.
Well, I got the light bulb.
Yeah, this is what they look like. Though just white shorts, backpacks, or sling bags, and black tags that say the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then it also says their name and elder because But lots of mission, ton of fun. You just get to teach people about Jesus, make people happy.
So many cool things.
Yeah, lots of cool things. You also sometimes get shot at depending on where you're serving.
I almost got stabbed like 3 different occasions.
Yeah. I got stuck in the middle of a gang war one time in a place called York. That was fun. That happened to me a couple of times. I don't have any bullet holes in me, so I think we're good, though. So.
I think I have trauma from violent occasions, so that's cool. It's like literally before that, I was fine. But then after that, like big crowds, I don't like anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And just social events, I'm like, I can do social, but And it was because of those like small instances, I'm like, someone could have a knife and I could get stabbed. Because I went to South Africa for like the majority of my mission, which is like one of the most dangerous places, but it was amazing. I loved it. That's where this thing is from. It was cool. It was amazing, but also extremely dangerous. So go to the tourist parts and nowhere else.
Pretty much, yeah. Go to Johannesburg. That's in... Don't go to Johannesburg.
Do not. That is the dangerous spot. Go to Durban and Cape Town. Those are nicer, prettier. You have the ocean and everything.
Listen to him. I know nothing about South Africa. I just know that there is a city called Johannesburg.
There is a city, Johannesburg. It is like the New York of South Africa.
Don't go to Johannesburg.
The cars, it's kind of like where you went, where the cars are just everything's jam packed. There's traffic everywhere. You can't go.
Southeast Asia. I was in Thailand, and that's what it's like almost organic. There isn't like a structure like we have in America. You just have big cars, and then every other space available is filled with a moped. And then you can't go over like 25 miles per hour because there's just at least the traffic goes 25 miles per hour, but it can't go above that, and people get mad at you if you're below that kind of thing, which is awesome.
So basically, traffic is constantly moving, but not very fast.
Yes, but it's moving, which is nice.
It's like Pav said in Spider-Verse. This is where the traffic is. This is where the traffic is. This is also where the traffic is.
Just like that. That's what it's like.
Pretty much. That's cool. I had a friend who went to the Philippines, and she said that it was awesome. So.
Oh yeah,
Philippines is cool.
Philippines is cool, and so is
I also had several companions. So when COVID happened, a bunch of missionaries that were in other countries had to go back to their original countries because borders were getting closed.
That was me.
And so like a bunch of crazy stuff was going down. Well, basically, a couple of the companions that I had in my mission that were they were from other missions that got moved to our mission so they can continue to serve the Lord. Like, they had a bunch of crazy stories. I had a friend who served in Chile, and oh my goodness, he had some crazy stories because he was in, like, the way south, like, the boonies of Chile. So, it was, he had some good stories. A good time. That is for sure.
Yeah, I was pretty sad. I only got 6 months in Thailand, and then I tore my ACL, and the exact same time, COVID literally happened 2 weeks later after that. And so I was terrified of their hospitals there. Also, they're really sexist, but they have a lot of hot nurses. And
of course, Wesley was thinking about that.
He is the resident simp here.
Okay, so Thailand's a little racist and still a little sexist, but that's just Asian culture, a lot of Asian culture. And so this was a private hospital, and so public hospitals are terrifying. Private ones are pretty normal. They're kind of like a normal U.S. hospital, but they had to wash my leg for some reason. To put a half cast on it, they wrapped it up so it wouldn't bend. And this lady, she just came in and started touching my leg, and I was just like, whoa, Elder. And my companion's just like wide-eyed. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay. Hello, let me hide. Let me hide now. Take my shorts up, I guess. It was awesome.
Because mind you, we're in the range of like 18 to 26, so fresh out of high school or maybe did like a semester of college, and then we're gone for 2 years, and like
we're supposed to be focusing only on the Lord. No girlfriends, no nothing. So
him just like
well, I wasn't that bad. But I was like, it was just more like, oh, this girl just started reaching up pretty high on my leg all of a sudden. I got real scared.
Scary woman.
I'm not upset, but I'm uncomfortable.
I love. Sorry, weird, but I love to do that to missionaries that come into work. I get them to come in. Sometimes they get in groups, and I'm just like, so elders, how long have you been out? And like they're in the nice white groups, and you can tell who's a greenie and who's like to go home. And it's like, oh, I'm at 23 months. Oh wow. So what's your topic for your homecoming talk? And like, how are things? Like, just making like really just trunky, which was our word of just like really wanting to go home.
Them wanting to pack up their bags and ship home.
I'm terrible.
Tronky. That we had a guy in my last area, like, so we get moved around to different areas, right? A guy in my last area, goes, Elder, eres tronky. And he's like, are you trunky? Like, are you feeling trunky? And you'd always go, no, hermano, no soy trunky. No, I'm not trunky, but don't even worry about it. But he does because the only thing that he could really say in English was, Elder, tronky? And because that's what he would do to the English elders. And so they'd always go, no, but he knows it, nah, drunky.
You can tell which ones are, and it's hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Good times.
Oh, great times. I think he's from Colombia. Colombians are funny people, but I love them. They're great. I had a companion who was from Colombia. Oh my gosh.
Hey, did you and David, you served in the same... Were you guys both stateside?
Yes, we were both stateside. We both served in Maryland, Baltimore.
Okay.
For our entire missions. We had the same companion that I'm talking about. He was from Colombia, and he was notorious in our mission.
Because I remember David got his mission call, but then he waited a while to actually go out. Because he did a semester of school or something. Because he came back, how long ago?
Oh, it was January, I think? Or December, January?
Yeah, because I remember looking at like the times, like, oh, you're going to be home like right before me. So I got home in February. So he was like January, December.
Yeah, the transfer before you, I think.
Yeah, which was weird to me because I was like, I remember going to your mission call opening and everything, like you getting ready and stuff. So it was weird to me that he was getting home roughly at the same time. I was like, I'm so confused by your mission, my guy. But it was COVID and school and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Because he had to wait to go on his mission because he has asthma or something like that. Like some lung condition.
At the same time,
and so he had to wait. What?
At the same time, COVID was happening.
Yeah, exactly. So he was supposed to go out in like 2019, and then COVID happened, and he had to wait till 2020. And then I didn't leave until October 2020, and then he got in like 2 transfers after me. And so it was like, which that's like
3 months.
That's 3 months after me. And so it was like he had to wait a while to go on his mission. But that just happens. Especially when it's COVID. Gosh dang COVID. I was literally for the first 8 months of my mission, I was trapped inside of my apartment. And that sucked. But the rest of my mission was amazing. And I still have like all my shoes that have holes in them and stuff like that.
I tossed them, bro. I was gonna keep and bring those shoes home, but I pulled them out of the closet because they were the ones I wore for like the first year and a half of my mission. The shoes were falling apart and everything. I pulled them out of the closet. Legit bugs were in them. Like, nope. I tossed them out as quick as I could. Like, I'm not bringing these things back home. I'm not bringing back some virus.
That's the thing. I had like 2 pairs of shoes on my mission, like 2 pairs of dress shoes, a black pair and a brown pair, because I was like, you got to match your belt, you know? That's just how it works. And I always wore the brown pair. I never wore that black pair.
That was opposite for me. I always wore the black pair.
Really? I always liked the brown pair because I feel like they showed dirt less and they didn't like scuff up as bad. And I wore those everywhere, and they had massive holes in them. I had to duct tape them by the end because I didn't want to wear my black ones.
I was also the guy that like never shined my shoes.
I didn't either.
Yeah, that's why your shoes didn't last as long. Because I still have my original church shoes.
Or maybe you just didn't work as hard.
Yeah,
that pair I wore for 2 years, and the leather is getting thin on the pinky toe part section. But man, I was digging holes. I was walking everywhere. I played basketball in them and everything. And
I also they called them the George Washington 4s or whatever because they were like, all right, we got George Washington on the court here.
Freak.
The Air Washingtons. There's a couple of names for them.
Different names for the shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
Dude,
Great
I
times.
only did service, any activity where we help someone, in my church clothes. Like, I wouldn't change into...
You were that elder?
I just was too lazy. It was so much more convenient. So I took my tie in, and I would help someone move their entire house in my church clothes. It was awesome.
Oh my
You were that
gosh.
elder. One of my companions, no, he was my trainer. He had the same last name as me. So it was Elder Brown, and Elder Thompson. He was like, okay, mission president's got a sense of humor here, right? But he would always be in his church clothes, nonstop. Even right before bed, he would wait till the last minute to switch out of his clothes. Maybe you're like, do you sleep in your clothes, bro?
That's what I do
yes,
too.
yes, I do.
People did think I slept in my church clothes.
You were
And so
that
whenever
elder.
there was a new elder that showed up, I'd sleep in my church clothes and wake up. I'm like, okay, elder, let's go.
Goodness.
Just to mess with him was awesome.
As soon as it hit like 9 and we were done, gone. Top button undone, tie loose and gone. Just I can breathe. Because my shirts that I had, the neck was always too tight. So having the top button done, was just.
I never had it buttoned up. I just had my tie to tighten my neck.
That's what I do most.
I
times.
never got back to the apartment before 9. Never. I don't think I ever got back to the apartment before 10, honestly. We were always out because members loved us.
Oh,
So you got fed.
So we got fed and we would sit around and we would talk. But the thing is, we'd always wait until like the last hour, especially during the winter. The last hour, like 8 o'clock, we do our dinner because no one would answer the door at that point.
Yeah.
And so it just wasn't successful. It was much better to be with, it was much better to be with members and building relationships and things like that. And I had some really, really cool members, especially in my last area. Hermana Selmo, oh my gosh. Freaking. Hermana, eres la mejor en realidad. Oh my goodness. She was amazing. She was such a good cook too. She was Dominican. Oh, best food I've ever had in my life. I'm sorry. I have to shout her out because, oh my goodness.
bro down bad, I guess. Dang.
Yeah.
No, she's married with 5 kids. Shut up.
Even worse, brother.
I hate you.
She was such a good cook. She used to make something called guandules, and she would make it with this rice. Oh my gosh. She taught me how to make it. I haven't had a chance to make it since I got back.
You guys
Asia will turn you into a rice connoisseur. So I could look at rice, taste it, and be like, yeah, that's short grain white rice. That's just the cheap stuff.
Okay.
This is fake California Japanese rice. This is Thai jasmine rice. Like,
All right, but here's the thing,
I
though.
only eat jasmine rice, just to let you know.
Did you guys, or do you guys, wash your rice before cooking?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I had to do that. That was the first thing I did with most of my companions. Like, all right, we're about to cook rice tonight.
Yeah.
What's the first step? Oh, you put it in. Wrong. You wash it. What do you mean? You have to clean the rice.
I came home and I had this big bag of jasmine rice. Well, we do that still. But my mom left it partially open in our garage. And I was washing the rice out one day and I see these little specks in there. I'm like, what the? And it was freaking fly babies. Maggots.
That is why you
That
lost the rice.
dried out. That dried out in the rice. And I was washing them out and I'll get it all clean and then I would eat it. And so it was perfectly fine, but my mom would not wash it until I got home. And I'd be like, Mom, this is why you wash your rice. This is why they wash it in other countries as well.
Because you can find whatever you can.
There's bugs in there, there's dirt, there's bad rice in there. Bad rice floats, by the way. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like
Always
the
wash your rice.
chef of the mission. I was that elder that would always just be
Didn't think
cooking
you'd be like
different
that.
food. I had a friend. He bought me a Death Note from the anime, and that was my cookbook. So I would always write down recipes or whatever I can find. So I have my mom and my sister, or have even members give me like recipes, and I'd write it in there,
Yep.
and then I would make the meal at the apartments. And so I'd just be cooking food, and elders be like, "Hey, Elder Brown, do you know how to make this?" I'm like, "Yes, you get this and this and this." Like, "Oh, but isn't that expensive?" Do you want to eat food?
You want it to
Then you
taste good.
spend the money.
Good food.
That's one thing freaking little high school students don't understand.
They don't know how to cook.
You gotta spend money to make it taste good.
They don't know how to cook.
Unless
They
you
just
just
want
want
ramen.
salt.
And even then, like you can get basic ramen and you just spice it up,
Yeah.
and it's simple and easy. But no, they just throw it in the packet, they heat it up, and done.
Dude,
Missionaries can either be really good cooks or the worst cooks because they don't know what to do. But they're pretty. They have some ingenuity when cooking because they'll find whatever they can in the apartment.
camera's about to die.
Oh.
Just warning you.
Oh, lovely. They'll find whatever they can in the apartment, throw it together, make it a meal, and call it good because they don't want to spend money.
Oh my gosh! At the beginning of my mission, I'm really ashamed of this. I didn't know how to. I knew how to cook a couple of things. Like I could make eggs and breakfast sandwiches and things like that. But at the beginning of my mission, there was one night I was like, okay, what do I have in my cupboard? And I hadn't bought anything on preparation day because I didn't have any money. And so I was like, okay. And I open up my cupboard and I have a pack of macaroni and cheese.
No, it's the other one.
And some freaking, some not refried, but some like baked beans. And I was like, I can mix these two. And I ate that for 3 days because it was just so filling. But it's disgusting at the same time.
I forgot what happened. Oh yeah, I remember. 1 second. Just pause.
Well, you can talk about it. The world must know.
I'm talking about it. Okay. Well, what happened is that we went to a buffet that was 1,000 baht to I think it was 1,000 baht, or it was like, yeah, it was 1,000 baht. So that's $33 US.
Oh my gosh.
And it was all you could eat. It's called shabushi. It's still really cool. Just to send this one missionary off, and I was just like, man, this is gonna suck, but we'll do it just because it's fun. Which it was fun. And you got something, a condition called drunken pork, where you start talking crazy and getting all giggly and stuff like that, and eating too much pork. It was awesome. But at the end of that month, I was 3 days until we got our refill of because we pay our own money, and so part of that money goes towards our food, but they just give it to us at certain time periods to keep us on how to do our finances and keeping money in order and things like that. And there was 3 days where I just didn't have any food, and so I would just eat rice at random places, or I just didn't eat anything. It was awesome.
See, that was my thing though. I feel like when we got what did you guys call it when money came in? Because we called it allotment.
Refill.
What did you call it? MSF.
I just called it payday.
So whenever that came in, I hated it because it felt like the most random days.
Oh.
It was it was every 2 weeks. For us, it was the 1st and the 15th of the month. So at the start of the month you get money, and halfway through the month you get your refill, right? But sometimes those can be at the worst times because, oh, cool, we're getting refilled on Monday. Right, we can go shopping and get our groceries because that's the time that we were allowed to go shopping and get stuff. But other times it's on Wednesday, halfway through the week, and we're low on groceries. I just make it every 2 weeks at the start of the day, at Monday, so that we can go get our groceries.
So, so on both sides of things, in Thailand, you don't get groceries. You just eat street food. And you got to be able to know how to discern your street food. If not, you'll get food poisoning, you'll get really sick, and everything.
I'm sorry, sir. If I remember correctly, India.
Hey, shut the freak up.
If I remember correctly,
sir. Mission president. Blah blah blah. Anyway,
he's pulling out.
It was only like $1.
I'm pulling out the blue handbook here.
It was only $1 per meal, and so it was 30 baht. And then if you wanted it fancy, it was 60, so it was $2. And you ate like a king. But then in America, somehow, I only needed like $40 for 2 weeks worth of food, somehow. And I would always have extra money at the end of each month.
I had so much money when I was stateside. And then when I got there, I was broke every week. And the missionaries were like, hey, let's go out to eat at this place. I'm like, elders, this place is expensive.
I was also always broke because I was an East Coast missionary.
Oh,
and so everything was crazy expensive.
Yep.
A gallon of milk at one point was $6.
Yeah.
And that's when you only have $40 for a week, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of freaking money.
Cereal became a luxury. That's all I can say. And so I ended up eating a lot of rice and a lot of just really cheap foods like pastas and things like that. Macaroni and cheese was the bomb. The only thing is it wasn't healthy. What I would do is I would go to Costco and I would just spend all of my money all at once, and I would get food just to last me the month. So I'd do a lot of protein shakes, do a lot of protein bars, things like that. That were really filling.
That would be so sad.
But the thing is, it filled me up. It gave me energy. And I lost 60 pounds on my mission, close to 60 pounds. I used to be almost 300 pounds before I left, and now I'm 210. So
there was one transfer that I had a companion. It felt like 3 transfers with him. It was terrible. I lost like 15, 20 pounds with him during that one transfer, just from like stress and anxiety. Like it was terrible, and because the guy would eat like once a day, but barely anything, and the rest of the time was just like, okay, we'll go out and do this. But honestly, we weren't even working the area. We would just go and visit one specific member for an extended period of time, and I wanted to die multiple times.
yeah.
So I was, malnourished? It was terrible. Also, I found it. It's in section 4.1.2. I found it. I had to pull it up because we have not a rule book, a guideline. I think it says here to try to avoid eating foods from street vendors because food quality and preparation safety are unknown.
But the mission president said,
No,
it's okay.
We had street vendors. There's a type of sandwich. I can't even call it a sandwich. That's disrespectful. In South Africa called a kota, which is just like polony and not venison, but like different meats and different things all crammed together into it that you could only really get like street vendors because that's where it's made the best. Even our mission president would go and get those. But there was a brand new elder who was like stuck on the Blue Bible essentially. He's like, but we don't know the quality. I feel bad for that kid sometimes because he just was.
That's what we call the handbook because it just as a joke, but it's not actually another Bible.
It's not another Bible. It's just a handbook.
Just to clarify.
There's a lot of religious joking that goes around.
Our humor just changes.
For sure.
But that kid, he would not eat at the vendors, even though everyone else would. He was like, "No, we can't go here."
It's so weird how street food tasted way better than official restaurants.
So much better.
It's like that polluted food tasted good because it had that seasoning from the dirt for some reason. It was awesome.
There was a thing called chicken dust in my mission. Like there was a type of thing you get there. You even had chicken feet. I did not eat chicken feet.
Chicken feet are good.
But like you could get chicken feet on the vendors and stuff. So it was.
I ate them in soup. They make a really great soup because of how much cartilage and stuff is in it.
I never ate chicken feet, but I did eat a lot of like pig ear, which was interesting. And I also had a lot of something called mondongo, which is basically just cow stomach chopped up and put into a yuca soup.
I heard that it was really good.
It tastes super good. It takes a second to get used to the texture of the cow stomach because like one side is like soft and fuzzy, and one side of like the same piece of meat is like rubber. And so it was super weird to eat, and you have to eat it hot. You have to eat it fresh. Because if you microwave it, you can't chew it. And you have to swallow the pieces whole, and that is when it gets rough. But it does taste super good.
Dude, okay, so the first week into Thailand, either the first or second week, I was just eating Thai food. And first off, it's freaking spicy. Americans wouldn't enjoy that part. So there's a lot of, they Americanize it, make it sweeter, less spicy here. But over there, between the food quality and the spice and crap like that, I went to the bathroom. And holy freak, I went in there. I was like about to explode and die, and I walk out of there like a changed man. And this a local missionary who is Thai, he went in there. He goes, "Oh my!" in English, runs back into his room. I'm like, what the freak just happened? Did he break something? He comes out with a gas mask. I don't know how he got the gas mask, and he goes back in there because he ate the same food I did, and they gave him the same problem. I was like, what the freak?
I hated that.
And so you think that the locals would be used to it, which they're used to it, but they get the same symptoms as you do. You just get used to it.
Same symptoms, a.k.a. spicy poops.
I gotta show you.
Fire turds, bro.
I gotta show you. This is what I love Mexican looks like.
Food. Oh my god!
It's just essentially a loaf of bread with a bunch of meat and sauce on it.
Oh my! I just got hungry. I haven't eaten dinner
They're
yet.
So good.
Is there even bread on? Is that bread on top?
It's a small. Literally, you have like this huge. I'm gonna show a picture when I edit this. There's like a huge bottom layer of bread, and then there's a small slab of bread on the top of it. The thing is messy. Like you put your tie away, you cover up when you eat that because everything's spilling. The sandwich doesn't hold together, so you bite into it, falls apart. The sauce and everything's just gone. It's so
in
good.
Thailand, you don't eat with silverware. If it's
same thing.
Unless it's like soup, noodles are kind of like, or they only use silverware if you have like soup noodles kind of things like that, or a lot of rice. But if not, you just grab it with your hands. Or like they have this sticky rice. It's called khao niao, and you grab that and you eat it with their salads and things like that. And so you just like you have to massage it and then you grab food with it as a utensil and then you eat it. And I still do that in America. And if you did that in a Thai restaurant, you know how to do it. Thai people freaking love you. It's hilarious. I love it.
So in my mission, it depended on who you were talking to because there's so many different types of Latinos and Hispanics. So like if you're talking with a Spaniard, you're gonna use utensils, and it's like it depends on where they are from Spain too. Like southern Spain, they're way more relaxed and they don't really care as much. Still pretty proper though. Northern Spain, they are like they'll be like, did you just use a solid fork to eat your meat? You plebeian! Like, the Spanish people are interesting people, but I love them. They're amazing. But, like, you're talking with, like, Mexicans or Guatemalans, they're the most laid-back people in the world. Or El Salvadorians, dude, pupusas. Oh, I live for pupusas. But, like, I forget what it's called.
Cabbage and carrot pickled.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
They always have it in the same plastic container that they reuse for like jelly beans or something.
I'm gonna look up what it's called because oh my goodness, I used to get it in little bags. Like they used to it wasn't even that. It was plastic wrap that they would like put it in and they would like tie it off.
Oh my gosh, dude! They had those plastic bags and they like spun it a certain way and put a rubber band on it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't untie a plastic bag, bro. And so you just pulled it, it's like, boom, and you start eating it with your hand, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Oh my gosh. I'm ashamed that I can't remember what it is. But anyway, it would be tortillas.
Yeah.
That's what it would be. Like, at least for Mexicans, it was, and Guatemalans would be tortillas. So, like, beans and rice, you'd scoop it with a tortilla. Yeah. Or, like, things like that. That's what it was.
Just go like,
oh my gosh, and they'd always have this little like it was like a weaved basket that had a top and like padding on the inside, and that's where they'd keep the tortillas and keep it
nice
warm
and
and stuff. Oh my freaking goodness.
Yep.
I would kill for some of those tortillas right now, guys.
Grilled corn tortilla.
Because like the ones you buy from the store are like so thin and they're not good. But the ones you have like a mamita, like she makes you a good tortilla. No, there's a difference between a mamacita and a mamita. A mamita is just like a little like a little mother. Like that's really what it is.
No, I know what the ita means.
But like they're in there, like masa, and they throw it on the pan. Sometimes it's not even a pan; it's just on the freaking stove. And oh my god! And they put it in there. Oh, they're heavenly.
They have like tamales and enchiladas, like tamales, bro. Oh. I could go to the store and get some, but man, there's some madreita. Mamita.
Mamita. Yeah.
I have a friend, and his mom makes the best tamales, dude. Get a little cheese and pepper, bro, a little pork, chicken. Oh.
There was this lady in my mission. Her name was Lupe. Her full name was technically Guadalupe because they don't worship the Virgin Mary. They worship the Virgin Guadalupe, which because Mexicans, I don't know, but like oh my gosh, her hands were freaking magic. Anything she would make was just amazing. Like she made these quesadillas one time. They're quesadillas. You wouldn't think it's cheese and a little bit of tortilla. Like that's it.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason, when she would make them, you would sit there and you would just like cry over every single bite because they were so good.
And does it go even better if you have a Coke with it?
Yes. You have a Coke, but she used to make this salsa too. Super spicy, but it was really
I love spicy.
Really good. So I also love spicy. That was like there was this other lady, also named Guadalupe, who owned her own restaurant. She also had the hands of an angel that could make really good. Okay, I think what we're discovering is that most Latinas can make really, really good food. Most. Keyword most.
I think generally most ethnic people can make really good food.
That's facts, actually.
The locals. Don't eat restaurant food. Eat
the locals. They know how to make it.
If they have flies,
trust it.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's not a lot of them.
I legit found 3 fries, essentially flies, in one of my member meals, And I'm sitting there, they're cooking, they bring me my plate first. I'm like, Elder, there's a fly in here. I said, well, get it out. I make sure they're not in the room, just I threw it all on the ground. I look at my plate again, about to eat. There are 2 more in here. I have to quickly wait for them to look away. Like, I think she's trying to kill me here. What we call
natural seasoning. Remember
it's
that.
natural seasoning. It was pretty good. What we call them in South Africa, gogos, like the old grandmas, they're called gogos. You can't call them grandmas.
Abuelitas.
They're only gogos. I feel like Gogo there did not like me for some reason. Like, I don't know what I did. I was very nice. I was respectful and everything. But no, she put 3 flies in my food and none in my companions.
I don't want to brag, okay? I really don't want to brag. But I'm going to humble brag for a second. I had pretty decent Spanish on my mission. Like I said, I came back almost speaking fluently for a while, and I haven't practiced in like almost 8 months, and so I'm a little out of practice. I'm a little rusty.
So you got horrible grammar for my time.
I don't.
But some words I could speak very well. Like I'll sound good, but it's in bad grammar because it's not like English.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sucks.
But because I had decent Spanish, a lot of people really liked me. And I felt really good about myself on my mission. That's all I can say.
You could speak another person's language. Bro.
They love it.
They will
I
immediately
have so
open
much
up
more
to you.
respect for people trying to learn English.
Mm-hmm.
And like I try to like listen, and especially if they're Spanish, I could understand a little bit. So I'm like, oh, so you're trying to say it like this, or like they say it a certain way. I'm like, oh no, it's like this, and you're able to help them out a lot more. But they also appreciate you a lot more.
Yeah.
Most Americans,
They don't understand it.
they don't understand the grind of having to learn the language, grammar, the culture mixed inside of it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that goes into learning another language. Like, shout out to all the people in America that
I
speak
taught
English.
On like learning another language, I went to Little Caesars the other day, and I'm standing in line getting pizza. It's like movie night for me and my brother. We're gonna watch a movie, so like, oh, we need to get pizza and like everything. I go in there. There's a guy, like 2 people in front of me, and like he doesn't know English very well, and he's trying to order. But this like little guy behind the counter, I feel like he's in high school at most. He doesn't understand. Oh, there's a fly in here. He doesn't understand Spanish, and he's like, I don't understand what you're trying to say, because the guy's broken English trying to get an order off, and the kid's just getting visibly upset. And he's just like trying to look at all of us that are in the lobby, and he's just like, do you speak Spanish? Do you?
The one day there's no one that can speak Spanish.
No one that speaks Spanish. He goes to the back to try to find a manager or someone that can, and he's just like upset and just doesn't treat the guy very nicely with the order. He's like, okay, so one this, like when someone doesn't understand, you kind of do that like slower speech and trying to do what you can. But it's just so rude. Like, I wish I knew Spanish to help you, my guy.
Even though like I may not know languages now, I know how to use Google Translate very efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
And so like even though you may translate what you're trying to say in English over, it doesn't translate.
It doesn't matter.
And so I would translate it from that language of what I just translated back into English, and it sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So like words in English they mean the same thing, but they don't in certain contexts. And so like you got to know how to like kind of structure your Google translating to make it like turn out the most authentic or proper way to do it.
Yeah. And I taught a lot of English classes on my mission.
Yeah.
Like, I spent a lot of time teaching English classes to people. And, like, something that I've noticed even since I've gotten home, because I have had chances, like, opportunities to use my Spanish since getting home. Once, like, if there's someone that's clearly struggling with trying to communicate with people, and you walk up to them and you just start talking to them in their language, they light up. Like, it just makes them so happy. And it's, like, the best thing in the world to be able to do that. There's this dad that's like trying to order food for his kids, and like he's like struggling to talk with the dude, and you just walk with him, hey, habla español, puedo ayudar. And so it's like he can talk to you and tell you what he wants to get, and you can like translate it. It's like, it's so nice. We used to do that on our missions all the time, and like I can do it now. It's so cool to be able to do.
It's so terrifying being in another country, not being able to speak a language.
Yeah.
Especially with Asian languages, because
they're wild.
Completely different than English languages with grammar, tones, like writing if they have it. And like that was me. Like when I was in Thailand, I was like, Elder, help me.
You're up, kid.
And then like,
You always have been.
but like once you're in country, if you're like trying to learn your language, like it will flick. Your brain will go like in the survival mode. It's like, oh, you don't hear your native language as much, so you're only learning the other one, and your brain turns into like a sponge, and you start learning it a lot faster, or like being able to retain it. And so my Thai, it's about the same as when I left, but it's like, it's just like
It's still there.
it's still there because I had to struggle so hard for it. Like with books don't like they have like a romanization of writing it into like English, like letters. That doesn't help at all. And so I would just struggle through learning the writing system of Thai, and I still don't know how to do it. But because I did that, I remember like how to read it and like what certain words mean and things like that.
Yeah. That was the sad part about me being in the States, right? I'm in the States and I'm trying to learn Spanish. So it took a lot of study. It took a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're not always talking Spanish. Like, you're going to go to a store and you're going to talk to people in English. Or even, like, if with your companion, you try and speak as much Spanish as possible. But there are going to be times where you just have to communicate, like, quickly. Especially if you have a newer person that doesn't speak Spanish.
Or, you don't speak it properly as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing. So we would spend as much possible time, like as much time as possible. Oh my gosh, my brain is switching to Spanish. Like we would try and spend as much time as possible in places that had lots of Latinos. So Latino markets, we would go to Latino restaurants, and we would spend as much time as possible talking with people who spoke Spanish. Because I didn't do a lot of grammar study, because it really doesn't do you any good. Because then you talk like a Spaniard. You talk super proper.
Very fancy.
And it kind of disconnects you from people a little bit. And so, like, it just depended on the area that you were in. You had to just talk with people and get used to the lingo.
Talk like a local.
So for a year, I was talking with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. So I got really, really used to talking with them and all the lingo and stuff. And I'm sure it's the same way, like, for you, depending on the areas you were in, you'd have to talk differently to people.
It was pretty much like that. There's, like, different dialects.
Mm-hmm.
As you went north, you got more Laotian, because that's the border, and so you got Isan, which is a mixture of Thai and Laos, and that's a whole nother language. And then, like, as you go down south, there's what you call Southern, and it's a completely different version of Thai. And luckily, I didn't go to those specific areas, so I would be able to listen and be like, oh, that's Isan, but I don't know what they're saying, and I'll be like, oh, that's Lao, but I don't know what they're saying. Then I'll be like, oh, this is Thai, and I understand part of it. But when I came home, or when I went stateside, I learned how to teach people about Jesus in Thai first, and my English was destroyed because I was like, my brain was trying to think how it would in Thai, but with simpler words. So I knew big words that were better for the situation, but I would dumb it down, and when I was stressed out, kind of a thing.
It also kind of helps teach, though.
That does too. But also, like, whenever I talk sometimes, I would, like, say it in the weirdest order ever. Because that's how the Thai people would say it, in a certain grammatical order. That's how I'd say my words in English. Or I'd switch letters in an English word to say it. And I was just like, and I'd have to, like, literally stop and reprogram my brain on how to speak English.
Mm-hmm.
It freaking sucked. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Languages are tough.
Did you learn any cool languages while you were in South Africa? Or any cool, like, stuff at the very least?
A little bit, because, like, the mission was English speaking, and the mission president made that very clear. We're an English speaking mission, and so the people that we find, they need to be able to speak some English, but we can still try to learn the language. He encouraged it because, like you guys were saying, if you speak their native language, they light up, and it opens a whole lot more doors. But I was mainly English, and I do not have what we call the gift of tongues. Like, I cannot learn a language for the life of me. So me and Wesley in high school, we took Chinese class together. I always struggled with it because I just couldn't get the right tones or anything, and I couldn't get Spanish down. And so in South Africa, there are 11 official languages. Only 11 official, but there are tons of other ones.
Dialect.
Because again, South Africa is like New York, as where other places from Africa, you have people coming in. So you have people from the Congo, you have people coming from Kenya, from Ghana, like all over Africa, they come to South Africa. So all their languages are there. But the main one that a lot of missionaries would learn would be like Zulu or Xhosa. I got the click wrong. I'm sorry. I know I got it wrong. There's different clicks in different areas. So it's like you have the roof, you have an undertone, like different clicks. And what was the worst for me is because most of the missionaries are from America who are white. Me, being a missionary from America, being black, made things very different. So me and my companion would be walking, and then Igogo would be like, sawabona unjani. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Because if I reply in Zulu, they're going to go off in Zulu nonstop. And so I can't have that happen because then my companion's going to be like, what do we do? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm American, so I don't actually speak Zulu. But what we do speak is Christ, right?
Yeah.
So there'd be times I'd slip up and I would reply in Zulu, and then I had to try to explain, actually, I don't speak it, but I'm learning it. I did learn sign language there, though. There was a member in one of the wards I served in that he was deaf, but he was teaching missionary sign language. And so me and my companion, I was there for like 6 months. We learned sign language, so I was able to translate a lot of what was going on in church for him. And then just like last week, I was able to use that English hard. Able to use that sign language at work because there was a lady that came through the drive-through and she was also deaf, so I was able to like sign her order and like help her out with stuff. So I learned sign language, but Zulu couldn't help. Everyone else came up to me and it opened conversations. Like, I don't speak the language, but we have something else to offer for you.
We got Christ.
We got Christ.
Yeah.
I just cannot speak languages. People would try to teach me. It was like, Elder Brown, you need to learn the language. And they'd always be like, oh no, you need to learn Zulu. You need to learn Xhosa. You need to learn Swahili. They'd always tell me their native language that I should learn.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll try. I will try. You teach me, and I will try.
That's how it was with Latinos and visiting their countries. They'd be like, oh, you gotta go to the Dominican Republic. Oh, you gotta go to El Salvador. Oh, you gotta go to Mexico. And I was like,
because everyone's so proud of their place, where they're from.
And that's great.
It's awesome. I love it. But then I can't learn it.
Yeah. I don't have money. I can't travel to all these places. I do need to go to the DR, though, at some point. Oh, my gosh. I fell in love with people from the DR.
Be careful, bro.
What?
Dominican Republic's dangerous.
I mean, yeah.
Everyone in the world's dangerous.
I know, but like, I forgot what specifically, but I knew someone that was a missionary from there, and like, there's just like civil unrest or some point.
Right now, it might be a little dangerous.
Because right now, yeah, like if it's like go, absolutely, but just like
Be careful.
Just
You know
do
what
it.
you're doing.
You gotta go to the places like Puerto Plata that are like super big, like tourist places.
Yeah, tourist places are usually safe, but you'll still get scammed.
Yeah, you still get scammed.
Be careful.
Because like us as missionaries, we weren't in the tourist places. We were in like the local areas.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to really get to know the people, the places, and the stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And so it's like, oh yeah, I know this place. Like, you do? But that's dangerous. Like, I know, but we find people there. But then when we refer people to going back to where we served, like, don't go where I went. Stay in like tourist central. You'll be safe.
Stay out of West Baltimore. Basically, only stay in Inner Harbor. This is the only place you want to be in Baltimore. It's still not safe, but it's like the commercial district. So it's like, it's where like a bunch of like nice places are. So like there's a Chick-fil-A there. Like that's kind of how you know that it's not a terrible.
You got Chick-fil-A?
Like even around, so Johns Hopkins University,
I
right?
don't have nothing.
It's not safe, bro. Don't got Chick-fil-A. Hey, listen, Las Vegas they're gonna have like 2 Chick-fil-A's.
Dang.
Is it safe? Just
Must be
remember.
safe. That was a joke.
Chick-fil-A.
But like,
We had KFC. KFC was like the McDonald's of South Africa.
really?
Like, you know how we see McDonald's on every block here? KFC every block in South Africa.
Same in Thailand.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
The
That's
KFC there
proud.
is so much better than here.
In Baltimore was Popeyes.
I don't
There's
want
a lot
it.
of Popeyes.
I don't even want to
Freaking
eat
love Popeyes,
KFC
though.
in America. Like, I'm scared. Like, it's not going to be as good as Thailand.
It wasn't.
But there's this thing called a wing sep, and that was chicken wings covered in sep sauce, which is like a Thai flavor of lab. And
I love when you start speaking Thai because like the tones are
You have-
so interesting
you have
to
to.
me.
but there was so much powder and
La.
like flavor on it, you got like chemical burns on your tongue, and you could feel it bubbling in your stomach. and it tasted so good that people thought I was crazy. I'm like,
What was it he said?
eat the crap out of it.
Last session.
Bang bang.
Yes.
Bang bang.
Share. Bang bang.
Because before we record, most times we'll have like a prayer, but we'll try to do it in like native languages that we learn on our missions.
Mm-hmm.
So he said it in Thai, and me and Gavin both had to try to keep ourselves from cracking up because we just hear him say "bing bang."
Like he's speaking Thai. This
It's not
beautiful
bang bang,
language,
it's
right?
bang
But
Bang
to
bang.
us, it sounded like "bing bong," which we both
freaking
wrote.
Bing bong, bing bong.
bang. So fucking racist, bro. They
We don't know.
We don't know it.
I'm over here trying to be all serious, and then they're just laughing at me.
We did it.
We didn't know.
We
did.
tried, but afterwards we both were like,
Dude, I heard you, bro. I know. You can't. You can't.
I don't know about that. I'm
Oh, I
pretty good
heard.
at keeping my laughs down.
No, because like I would do that in.
I should learn how to. I should figure out how to say seals during a prayer one time.
Seals,
Seals somehow.
like the animal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you want to know how to say seals in Spanish?
No.
Focus.
You know what? You want to know how to say practice in Thai?
How?
Fuck.
We
Fuck pasa.
are a family-friendly channel, guys.
These are different languages.
Hey,
folks.
you don't have to
languages.
censor it.
Futsek. That was the Afrikaans. That was
That
the
sounds
language.
like you said foot.
Yeah, it
Foot.
sounds like you're saying foot. My friend Holmes will tell you. Afrikaans is like it's Dutch and almost German, and it's super aggressive. And it's just like no one wants to learn it. They try to tell you should learn Afrikaans, and it's like no.
So swear words in Thai don't exist. So there's like emphases saying like, oh, there's a lot. Some like Spanish where it's like, or no, it's not like
Like
Spanish.
in English.
No, not in English. There's not like a word vary. It's just like mag, which is more kind of a thing. But it doesn't mean more. Or it does at the same time. So instead to kind of call someone a swear word, you call them some sort of animal. There's like some specific animals that are dirty and gross or dangerous, and you call them that.
Cool. In Spanish, there's no such thing as a non-swear word. Like, you know, we have like freak,
Yeah.
or we have like dang it.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what country you're from. If you're from Colombia, there's no such thing as a swear word. Just all words are fair game. Like, preachers will use like words that would be considered very bad in other countries, like because it's a normal thing.
That's just it. There is nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. But like in some countries, like you can say idiota, and that's like a huge insult. Like that's a big time insult. But like in English, you call someone an idiot, you could just be joking around. No, that's like a big insult. And so it's just like in Spanish, there's like words that like people use, but they're like basically normal words that just you change. Like, okay, sorry, I'm going to swear very briefly.
This is now going to be not for children.
So like in Spanish, you say mierda, right? And that's the S word that means poop. But like you'll go like you'll hurt yourself, like you'll bang your fingers and go miércoles, like because it sounds like you're going to say mierda, but then you say miércoles, which means Wednesday. And so it's like when you say like shoot, like you know,
You're
that's
leading
kind of
into it.
Exactly.
That's the exact same
Super
thing in Thai,
expectations.
but they just say it. It just is. They just say a dirty animal. So like if you scare someone, they just be like here, and that just means water monitor.
Water monitor.
Yeah.
nice.
And so I could call you a water monitor and just disrespect you and your entire family lineage and things like that. Anyways.
Nice. Languages are cool.
I love that, like, most times the first thing people learn in languages are the swear words.
Yep. Gotta get used to it.
Because once you know those, then you know when someone's talking about you and using those words, and you can be like, excuse me? And then they're just like, oh no, he knows. Like, no, I only know the bad ones.
I don't know everything else, but I know you're being mean right now.
Oh no. There's been a couple of times where I've it's funny because no. Latinos think they just assume that no one speaks Spanish, even though it's like
Common.
one of the most common languages in the world. Like millions of people speak it. But like they just assume that no one speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
And so like they'll be sitting on a bus and we'll just be like talking about people. And I'll be like, sí, claro, esta persona, como esta persona, or go, like I just start talking to them too, and they'll be like, what the fuck? but then they like joke around with you, and it's so much fun. Like
that's just, and I think anywhere, period.
Yeah.
They would do the same thing in Thailand, but they'd be like, "Look at that phalang." I'm like, "Phalang, you a Tina, hey?" And just be like, "Where's the freaking white guy?"
What is the white guy in their language?
Gringo, that's an easy one in Spanish.
Yeah. And so you're like, where is he? And then they're like, and they're like going away. Because children in Thailand are terrified that if you know Thai, they'll try to, or anything, or just period, they're scared that you're going to try to make them speak English. And they get really embarrassed pretty much. And so they're like, don't, you just got to stay away.
I loved it because I would just look and listen to conversations as best as I could, even though it was in a different language, because I would be really good at picking up those clues. And so we'll be riding our bikes, and I'll see these little kids talking, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They're talking about us. So I just turn my head and be like, hey! And just, I can't remember what it was anymore, but I had like a phrase to be like, hey, what you talking about? And be like, ah! And they'd run away. And it was the best thing ever, because I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I can assume it's roughly about us, and I can scare you about that. Or like, Mulungu, and like, you lahua. And they'd be like, ah! I love it. It's the best thing. Mulungu is the Zulu of white man, and then lahua is like Spedi. I'm getting these wrong. I know almost like 100% that I have it wrong.
Forgive my friend for being wrong. He does that a lot.
Wesley thinks he's right.
Oh gosh. We've been talking about this for a minute.
For a fat minute, and I think our time is up.
Probably.
I could go on for a bit for languages.
That's the
They're
thing.
so
Languages
interesting.
are cool.
They're so fun.
They're so interesting.
They are.
It's just
Super interesting.
us Americans kind of suck.
Mhm.
Because
even English as itself.
It's
like,
cool.
Slang. Like I had to explain to my friend Steve today, Steve Lenning.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't understand like texting, like comment sections. He thought they were talking about him because this one random post from someone else kind of blew up and he was just in it. He thought they were talking about him, but they were referencing a different guy in the video. I'm like, no, Steve, look. And I had to explain like, what do you think this means? And I had to explain like, I'm deceased. They thought it was so funny, like I'm deceased. But I'm like, no, he's just.
They're just
it was so funny
themselves.
that he's dying of laughter or something.
It's like, oh, he's dying?
Something like
no,
that.
it's just an expression, my
It's
guy.
just- yeah.
It's like Drax.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Just
Everything
like
over
that.
his head.
nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too quick for that.
I will catch it.
I love it. It's the best. Because language is like, here's the thing. I
Love
hate
it.
seeing the videos of like Americans getting mad at someone that doesn't speak the language. Like, you're here in America, you
Oh,
speak
gosh.
English, okay?
I freaking hate those.
And I hate it because, like, I'm sorry, but so many other languages are so cool and unique. And English is, like, one of the hardest things to learn, like, period. Because we have so many different phrases, different past tense, future tense of things. And also, depending on where you are, there's different slang. If you're in the South, it's going to sound really different compared to if you're, like, in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and even younger generation terms. Like, I'm deceased. English is so hard because it's always changing and evolving. And, like, I feel for those people that can't get it.
For sure.
There's so many things in English that don't make sense.
Mhm.
Especially like words, like you just have to memorize them as they are. Not like you learn how to read A, E, I, O, U and their combinations, but then you have to forget that and improvise.
Mhm.
So like brought, like BROUGHT, and then though are very similar, but you say them completely different just because that's just how you say that word. And there's like, I watched this little video that was just like, we take this and then we say it like this, but no, we can't say it like that because it's actually this. And I'm just like, it was just that whole thing of brought, though, and all those kind of play on words.
I remember seeing a video about that. It's like, okay, so if West is said like this, then this word is said like that. No, because you have this word
Yeah,
here. So it has to be said like
exactly.
this. Like, wait, you're not making sense.
That
No,
doesn't
it makes sense.
No, just look, and then it's
Because
a whole different word.
Because English is technically every single like English is basically I
Like
like
that.
I like this from this language over here. Oh, I like this from this language over here too. I'm gonna just take all of this.
Except for
And
Asia.
What?
They don't have anything.
Pretty much, yeah. There's nothing in English in Asia, which is really weird. But yeah,
It's
basically-
very weird.
every European language ever, they were like, "Yep, I like this word," especially French for some reason,
And German.
and German,
All
yeah.
Germans.
And so basically, and like you read like Old English too, and it's a completely different language.
Dude, have you seen those videos? Like, this is what Old English sounds like. It's called Old English, and you don't even understand it, but it sounds just like English.
Like Shakespearean English, or
no? Like that's like that's just like kind of older England,
like older style.
It's literally called Old English.
There's a completely different language called Old English,
and it's the original English, and that.
It's basically what poor people used to speak like back in like the early times.
Yes,
just
before
evolving.
Words and spellings and books.
Yep, pretty much.
The word colonel is pronounced like the word colonel.
Colonel and cornel.
No.
Coronal.
No, because you have colonel like popcorn kernel, and then colonel like
which is O-R-O.
like colonel.
Colonel. C-O-R-O and and then there's K-E-N.
Yeah.
E-R.
It's like they're said the same way but spelled differently, and it's terrifying. Or like the word Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, but it's
Wednesday.
It's just English is weird.
Muscles.
It's so weird. Learning new muscles in your mouth to pronunciate, like words. Like in Thai, I don't move my lips too much. I emphasize it. You learn the language by overemphasizing things to kind of build those foundational muscles, but then afterwards, your body you forget you kind of don't activate all the other words, kind of a thing, and it's just like then you're like actually speaking like a local kind of a thing. But until then, like until you're used to it, it's like very strange.
Yeah, for sure. So much though. There's so many cool languages and so many cool things out there.
Language is history.
This turned into
language.
This was supposed to be a table talk. Just like we're supposed to just have fun, talk about whatever. It turned into we talk about languages.
It did. That's what happened here. It's like, all right, we're gonna maybe talk about work and about this. No, it's like, all right, well, explain what a mission is, going to missions, and then languages and this. And it's like,
I'm sorry. I think I started us on this path, and that's.
No, that was the point of
horrible. I know I'm a terrible person. Oh my goodness.
You're terrible. Goodness.
Yeah, but
I can't be on here. I'm actually gonna be gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, a little bit of a editor's note. I did not get a chance to edit this during the month of July, and so this is coming out very late. So sorry for the large break in July, but we are back now, which you'll see with our up-and-coming D&D episode. But just a little note to let you know of why you didn't see this during July.
We actually, King's Media is going to be going on a bit of break during the month of July and maybe a little bit of August. Because Gavin is going to be gone for basically all of July. I will be having some family and we'll be renovating the studio here for a bit.
Yeah.
So for the time being, this will maybe be the last video you see for a while. We'll try to post compilations and behind the scenes stuff, but this might be the last one for the last little bit. So
we may have some D&D stuff with Nate and Gavin.
Nate and David. It might be behind the screens kind of stuff. We might do it off the table.
Off the script.
Yeah, off the script. It might be that, or we might just do pure audio sessions of those. But it really is just call it as we see it kind of deal. But this was kind of fun table talk. I liked it.
It was.
I love languages. Nice. I'm not a linguist.
Neither am I.
It would be fun.
I love English, but like English type.
English sucks.
Here's the thing. Not in like English. I love English. It's the best language. But like English, as in like the school topic English and understanding how things go. That was my favorite subject in school.
I was decent.
So I felt like I was really good.
I could do it now, but like even now, like I hate it. It's like.
I loved it. So I always loved dissecting stuff like that.
There's so many. I don't know. I have a lot of built-up anger for it right now, and I can't think of why.
But we do thank you all for listening and or watching this. We will see you later. Check out our other videos and episodes from Dungeon and Dingnuts, our Spider-Verse review, our other table talk. Go check those out, or even our older stuff with me and Reggie of movie reviews. We're gonna try bringing that back of the couch reviews, watching movies and giving our thoughts.
We gotta get Reggie back.
Oh my gosh, Reggie is currently in the military, so that's why we haven't had Reggie for 2 years probably. So
they get. Never mind. We'll end it here.
Yeah, but thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
See ya.